Good Sunday morning. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to this week's Community Focus. Joining me now is David Mann. He's the president and CEO of the Lucas County Land Bank. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I just want to first start out with this. What does the land bank do for people that aren't aware of what you guys do?
Yeah, the Land Bank is a public nonprofit organization. Our job is to help strengthen neighborhoods by returning vacant and abandoned properties to productive use. We do that in concert with neighbors. We do that in ways that help to invest in our community and help to create a better place for all of us to live in.
And one of the things the land bank did recently was launch this new short video series highlighting some of the different efforts of the land bank. So speak to that series.
Yeah, we Land Bank has been around for 14 years, and we've done a lot of things in communities. We've helped to make better over 7,000 abandoned properties in our community. But I think those statistics sort of gloss over the reality that every time the Land Bank is working in a neighborhood, we are working with people. We're working with community residents. We're working with new homeowners. We're working with businesses and nonprofits. And we really wanted to help tell the story of the Land Bank's work through the voices of the people who we are working directly with. And so in our short film series, folks get to meet a whole bunch of really great people in our community. Sonia Flunder McNair, who runs an organization called Urban Holistics. We helped her build an entire community agricultural space in the Junction neighborhood. But right next to that space is Miss Gloria. Miss Gloria has lived on that block for a long time. She's the last house on that block. And Miss Gloria is now the neighbor to this wonderful space. She's been able to participate in it. And so those are the kinds of things that we do at the Land Bank. Those are the people that we work with. And we really thought it was a great opportunity to help tell those stories through those films.
Yeah, and this video series available currently on the Land Bank YouTube channel. And what's great about this too is that people get to see that there are other options besides demoing buildings or just leaving properties vacant.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the misperceptions that we often have at the Land Bank is that all we do is demolish buildings, demolish old homes. And we've done that because that's one thing that some of our neighborhoods have needed over the last 14 years. But that's not all we do. That's not the only thing that can help make a neighborhood stronger. If we can help to get control of an abandoned house that can be renovated, we can then sell that home to someone who may become a first-time home buyer. And not only do we save something that the community has invested in for perhaps over 100 years, but we'd help to create an opportunity that is even stronger than if that house had to be demolished and we were just selling the land to a next door neighbor to add to their own property. And so it's really a mixture of things that we do. But let me tell you a little bit more about some of the when we do demolition these days, we're doing it at a scale that the community hasn't seen for projects that have been lingering for a long time. So in the Clinton Park neighborhood, which is in central Toledo, sort of heading along Dorr Street or along Bancroft, a 7-acre abandoned industrial plant called Baron Drawn Steel had closed in the early 1980s. And then for 40 plus years, my whole lifetime, that property sat there abandoned, holding back the neighborhood, creating a place where people could get injured very easily, creating a bunch of ugliness for the neighborhood. When we do demolition now, we're not focused so much on that individual house. We're focused on cleaning up a site like Baron Drawn Steel, which we did, and have restored that land to something that can be valuable again for the neighborhood, removed that eyesore, and really done something that at a scale that I think people would be surprised to see.
One of the things you mentioned was the process of acquiring a property, because that can be a whole nother adventure. And so how difficult is that to do in the city of Toledo?
Yeah, abandoned properties, getting control of abandoned properties is the thing that we do best, and it is very complicated. In fact, land banks were created in Ohio in order to do that better than we really had the tools to do with not that long ago. I think a lot of people might think, well, if somebody isn't taking care of their property, if they're not keeping up with the maintenance, or even if they're just not paying the taxes, that somehow folks can just swoop in and do something else with that. It's not that simple. People have rights in this state. There are legal protections. But much of the property that we become the owner of is a result of someone not paying their taxes, leaving the property, whether it's a vacant lot or a building, And then working through a court process where ultimately, if they don't pay those taxes, if they don't keep their property up, that property is then transferred to the land bank so that we can then work to make it useful and productive again. But we're really a catalyst. We're not supposed to be the owner of property for a long time. We're supposed to be able to step in, position that property in whatever ways it's needed, but then put it back into the hands of folks who are going to do something really great with it. And that's what we've done. We've done that 7,000 times all over Lucas County, and we hope to do more.
And just for those people that do like to take things into their own hands, what programs and resources do exist within the land bank that they can access?
So many. First and foremost, bringing a property to our attention that we may not be aware of. One can do that on our website at lucascountylandbank.org by filling out a property request. That will help to put something to our attention that we may be able to get involved in. We also have properties for sale. So whether it's a commercial building or a residential home, if you're a fixer-upper, if you like to do things yourself, you can buy a property from the land bank for a pretty good deal. And then work with us to get that property renovated to a place where it's safe, livable, useful again. Sometimes we fix up properties ourselves. We're actually working on 4 of those projects over the next year. And when those projects are finished, we will be offering those for sale. And people don't have to fix those up. They can buy them right from us, perhaps with a mortgage, and become a homeowner. For lots of people, they might be next door or nearby to a vacant lot. If they're next door and it's a property that we might be able to be the owner of, then we can sell it to them for $150. They can add it to their own property as a side lot. But if they aren't next door, but they still want to help take care of it or do a garden or do something positive for the neighborhood, then we have an adopt a lot program where nearby residents can step in and can use that land even if we don't sell it to them in a way that's beneficial to the neighborhood. So I think every kind of situation that one might encounter in a neighborhood, we have some programs and resources to connect with. And we love to get to work with people to do something better for the neighborhood.
And if there's anything we realized in the last year is that numbers definitely matter to people. And I think kind of hearing just how cheap they can get some land in the city of Toledo is probably something that blows their mind. And so kind of speak to that in going into the future, because we're seeing Toledo revitalize as a city, but you can really do it on your own street.
You absolutely can. There are so many opportunities in our community. I think a lot of people look at a vacant lot that might not be taken care of, and they think of it as a liability, think of it as a problem. We think about it as an asset, as an opportunity, because for not that much money, one could perhaps buy that property and put a garage on it. We worked with a family in North Toledo, the Ayalas, who had a house that burned down behind them. They didn't want to live next to that. The house happily got demolished, but then we sold them that land. They built a new garage. They built an outdoor patio area that they could relax in. They did a number of great things. They did that after they bought it for us for only $150. So this is really the time to invest in our community. We have so many of these opportunities. If we were in a different place, maybe those opportunities wouldn't exist anymore. But by doing that, by creating the kind of neighborhoods that we want, and by taking that local control, we all can contribute back to this place that we love.
What's next for the Lucas County Land Bank?
Well, we've got a lot on our plate. Like I said, we're working to renovate some additional homes. We are working, we just launched a program that we call RISE, which is about a neighborhood-focused complete engagement strategy. We just launched that in the Scott Park neighborhood, which is also along Dorr Street. So we look forward to getting to know neighbors in the Scott Park area and helping them with their own projects. We're working with partners all throughout the community, the metro parks, the library, and others to do some cleanup projects to help ready sites for futures. We have a lot on our menu. I think the most exciting thing is that we are now partnering with Maumee Valley Habitat for Humanity to perhaps create another 8 affordable housing projects through a new program the state has launched called Welcome Home Ohio. We're going to keep talking about that as we go forward in the year, but this is the first time the state of Ohio has invested in affordable housing, and we really want to take advantage of that opportunity here in Lucas County.
And definitely we need it too.
We do.
Well, David Mann, President and CEO of the Lucas County Land Bank, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's this week's Community Focus. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and have a great week.